Hey drawing friends, today we're drawing the passion flower. It is one of the coolest flowers. It totally looks like an underwater sea creature or maybe like an outer space plant. I don't know, I love it. And who doesn't love passion flower tea? For this video, there's a PDF that you can download in the description box along with all the other videos in this floral drawing series. You can also check out what everyone else is drawing in the floral drawing series by visiting the hashtag #What'sFloralSeries on Instagram. Super fun, check it out, everybody's having a blast. And last thing, all the supplies are listed below and you might find a few discount codes while you're at it. So go ahead and check out the description box because there's all kinds of goodies in there. All right, let's draw the passion flower. Okay, so I have some reference that I licensed from Adobe Stock of the passion flower. And this flower is so awesome. Usually they come on vines, and if you saw this flower from the side view, it's pretty cool. It looks kind of like a merry-go-round or some kind of carnival ride. But basically, these three styles are on top of the ovary, and then underneath that are the stamen, and there's 5 of those. And when the flower blooms, these stamen kind of pop out. It's very bizarre. It's just such a unique flower. So from the side view, the passion flower, might look something like this. And then the stamen. Those kind of have like hot dog bun shapes on them. And then this comes down. And then the flower starts. And this is pretty tall on the side. And then it's got its wreath of it's called the corona, and I guess it's because it looks kind of like a crown. I'm not sure what these do for the flower. That would be an interesting thing to look up. But they make an awesome looking flower because they're gorgeous. Every time you see them, it's like this bright magenta or purple ring of fire. And sometimes these filament type pieces are shaped like this. So the passion flower just looks like it's having an awesome party. I mean, I just love this flower so much. And the other cool thing about it is the petals look like stars. So you have a star shape of petals, and then under that is the sepals, but they look like petals, so we refer to them as the petals. But there's another star shape of those. So it's like 2 stars that just kind of got rotated on top of each other. So awesome. Anyway, so this is how I would approach drawing the passion flower. I would start with that center ovary, and then I would kind of sketch out a boundary for those stamen to stay within. And also it's kind of imitating this inner part of the corona where it's got the darker purple color. And then from there I might give an outer boundary to those to the petals. And then the fringe can kind of end here. The wreath of fringiness. Okay. Then I would put a star shape in here to kind of get that first layer of petals. And then another one. All right. And then from here, I would go ahead and start drawing those 3 styles. So those I would kind of space out evenly. And then behind that, I would sketch in the anther part of those styles, or the stamen, and kind of keep those evenly spaced. And then I would sketch in that fringe, and whether it's, sometimes this is the corona part of the passion flower is straight, or you can have it a little more, like almost, it's like wisps of hair. So you could have it doing the wiggle, or you could have it straight, whichever one. And then I would have the petals drawn in. So I would start with the 5, right? And they would be kind of going behind this fringe. And then I would add those other 5. Okay. And then we, because it's a vine that we're, you know, the flower grows on a vine, so we'll be just doing a portion of that vine for the sake of, you know, drawing an individual flower. So this isn't our typical, like, stem leading up to a flower. It's kind of like we're having the vine growing up behind the flower. So then you can put your, and just ignore that. This is just the friend of this passion flower that wants to hang out and see what's going on. See? Okay. And we've got a leaf here. So that's how I would approach drawing the passion flower from the top view. All right, so now I'm going to go to the watercolor paper with the finished sketch, and then we'll start inking our passion flower. Okay, so normally with the floral drawing series, I've been doing everything in the Tombow Mono drawing pen in size 8, but my kids took off with it, so I only have a size 1, which is a little too thin for what I'm doing for this video. So I'm actually going to use the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen in the hard tip. So it still has a consistent line weight, and then I can use the side to add the thickness in later. So I'll be inking everything with that consistent line weight, and then adding a little bit of thick and thin to create interest and a little more weight to the drawing. Okay, so when I ink the passion flower, I start with those 3 styles. And you can kind of just have those evenly spaced from the center. And they'll kind of attach to each other. Think of it as like a, you know, an airplane propeller. And then you can draw that ovary coming in from behind them, since we're looking on the top view of that, you know, that tall, where did it go? Since we're looking at the top view of this, you know, you'll have your 3 styles, and then the ovary is here, and then you've got your 5 stamen. Okay, so for the 5 stamen, I start with the stems of them. And they'll kind of be behind some of these, and then I'll add in that sort of bun shape anther. Yeah, definitely a different view when you're seeing this from the top. It's like, oh, okay, everything kind of got, you know, squished or foreshortened because we're looking at it from the top view. All right, so from here, I add in a ring of the fringe. I see this on a lot of passion flowers, so I was like, okay, I'll put that in there. I'll put that in there. Okay. And then sometimes you'll see a little bit of a hexagon shaped ring, but those will only be poking out here and there because our anther are sort of covering them. All right. And then from here, I'm going to draw those longer tendrils of the corona or the wreath, and you can either do those just as long strokes, like sometimes they'll feel kind of wispy and they'll feel like they have these beautiful kind of curves to them, and sometimes they'll be a bit thicker, and so you can actually do them like this, you know, straight and a little bit thicker like you see on this one. but I'm actually just going to use one stroke to do them. And if you're going to, you know, kind of outline each one of them, I just think it would be really helpful to make sure that you sketch out where you're kind of going to lay the lines to make sure that they're actually all radiating from that center point. Because a lot of times, you know, if you're doing something around a circle that you're outlining, you know, if you don't have a sketch in place, you might do something like this instead of something like this, you know. All right, so next, let's start doing these little tendrils. I like to have them, some of them straight and some of them wavy. And, you know, it's good to make sure you have a sketch of all of these lines radiating from that center. Real messy like that and everything, you know? I think the more random that you make them, the more natural it feels. Unless you're going for the straight ones, then you can just have them all like perfectly radiating out of the center. This is a really good example of when it's important to, I always create a bounding area for my drawings to like be contained within, because I could, like, you can kind of see it here, like these are a little bit taller than these, so I actually probably should have drawn it more like this, but I was just following my sketch. So it's really handy to have that, you know, that circle around it to kind of keep these tendrils kind of contained within, so that you don't have them a bit, you know, off center. So what's really cool about this is, like, you know, you can have this as your fringe, and then you can actually go in, like, this is a color version that I did. You can actually go in and just make a circle of color to create that effect that some of the passion flowers have, where it's got, you know, that purple ring and then a lighter ring and then another purple ring, or maybe sometimes this one's magenta. But, you know, you can draw it all out in ink and give the illusion of each of them having that purple color just by drawing a ring of that purple around the center. Kind of neat. And I'll talk about this version, more later. All right, so here I'm going to ink the petals. And it's, again, very important that I already had a sketch, because this is one of those flowers that can easily get out of hand because of how much is hidden behind this fringy wreath. You can certainly choose to draw the petals behind it, but sometimes things like that just create visual confusion with the drawing, and it's not worth it because you kind of can't see it. So I just leave it out. Something really helpful with drawing in general is to, sometimes leave out information so that it's a little more clear visually and still reads as the same thing that you're going for. So you know that these petals still continue back here, but I don't have to have the extra chaotic lines behind this because, they're kind of hidden behind the fringe. Okay, with the vine on the passion flower, the place where the leaves and the stem kind of converge is a little bit thicker, so I actually draw the stem and leave little spots for the leaves to come from. And then you just want to make sure that that line from the stem picks up right where it left off. Okay, so from here I'm going to erase the pencil work so I can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit more and add in some thicker areas of line work and then some darker details in this center area. So for this drawing, I'm actually going to add some darker hatch work into this fringe area to give that illusion that there's a ring of color and then another ring of color on the outside. And then I'll go in and add some thickness to some of the other line art. The video is going to be sped up for this part. Okay, friends, so that is how I would do just a black and white drawing of a passion flower using a pen that has a consistent line weight and then adding a little bit of thick and thin later to give it a little more dimension. And then next I'll show you the color version that I did just to kind of give you an idea of how you could do a color addition to your black and white drawing. So I just wanted to show you how adding color to the passion flower drawing will make a big difference. Now this one is done in brush pen, which is what I typically work in. So I drew everything in waterproof brush pen, and then I added color to it with a Tombow dual brush pen. And I added all of the yellows and the greens first, and then I came in with some magenta and then purple. And then I went in and did the leaves. I started the leaves with a lighter green and then added a darker green on top. Then I took a water brush from Tombow and basically ran through the artwork in each area, making sure to keep the color kind of in their area so they don't bleed into other, other spots. And that's how I kind of got this watercolor effect just using the Tombow dual brush pens. So a passion flower is definitely a flower that you have to see in color because they're gorgeous and just super cool to look at. But yeah, that's the color version of the passion flower. I hope you enjoyed this class, and be sure to check out all the other classes in this floral drawing series. I also have a ton of content coming your way on different art techniques and probably Photoshop and whatever else I feel like adding to this channel. I love art. I totally nerd out about it, and I think you'll have a lot of fun if you subscribe. So nice to have you. I'm Sarah Watts, and I'll see you on the next video.